me to the planet Stellar. You loving every single thing you do. You got it. Oh, you got it.
Greetings all and welcome back. I'm starting today's video off with showing you guys how I set up my iPad before I set up my reading journal for the month, or before I show you guys how I typically, and it's not all the time, but typically I like to use my removable screen protector. So this is one that I use when I want that paper feel to my iPad screen, especially since I use it so often. I tend to get, aching in my knuckles and in my wrists. I don't want to call it carpal tunnel because I'm not claiming that, but I use it so often. I use the pencil so often that, the glide of the regular screen kind of exacerbates that. So I tend to use my screen protector, or the removable magnetic screen protector, to kind of help with that. So that's what I'm showing here. And then I also like to change the tip of my pencil to one that's more like a pen, and I only use that tip when I'm using the paper feel screen protector. Otherwise it might scratch my screen, even though it does already have its own screen protector on it as well. Anyway, so we're moving into my calendar for October. Of course, I got so into my reading, I did not keep up with tracking how long it took me to read each book, but thanks to Goodreads, it tracks it for me, so I could reference that and add it to my calendar later on. So here I'm just adding all of the stories that I was able to get through this month, or this past month. And I finished both audiobooks. I did not get through all of my ebooks, because everything was ebook. I had no physical books this month. As usual, I used my trusty Kindle Unlimited subscription to read most of my books, so I don't I don't incur too much extra cost by doing that, because I read so many books. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just walking you guys through how I usually add all of the different stories that I've read to my calendar for the month. So I use the highlighter function and kind of try to coordinate the color of the highlighter to the cover of the book. It's just a thing I like to do. It's obviously not a must to do, but something fun I like to do. Play with the little color picker tool as well to help me out, so I'm using the right colors and I don't have to figure out the hex code for everything. And then I moved on to adding the book covers to this month's read section, because obviously I fell off from that as well as the month went on. I have to say I was not disappointed with too many of the things I read this month. I was super excited to read JoJo's Over the Influence, or listen to it, because that was one of my audiobooks for the month. I was super excited about that because I've loved her since she came out back in 2003, 2004, something like that, when I was in middle school. Always loved JoJo. I've always been a fan of her music, and her as a person in general. I mean, what I knew of her, but listening to her story was quite interesting, to say the least. I guess I can leave it at that. It was definitely interesting, but yeah, Chasing Summer was definitely my favorite of the month. One of my 5-star reads for the month. Just as a disclaimer, I'm gonna call spoiler alert because I will be discussing some details from the books some of the books that I've read last month. And if you are someone who does not like spoilers, I will definitely have timestamps listed below. If you feel like skipping the book discussion, you just want to check out what visuals I have for each book for this month. Also, a disclaimer, I did not do visuals for my audiobooks. I only did them for my physical books. No particular reason. I just feel like I get more, and which is crazy, but I just feel like I get more of a visual when I read physical or even ebooks, physical or ebooks. I feel like I get more of a visual. It's easier for me to highlight in the books different aspects of the story that I'm able to look back at and kind of visualize, and able to find different elements on Pinterest to add to my reading journal. But yes, Chasing Summer was definitely my favorite. This one was about Ali and Soleil, who meet by chance. They meet by chance at a party and have this instant connection. It is so, like, the way D Rose writes her stories is crazy visceral. Like, you can really kind of feel like you're in the story with the characters, which is something I love about her writing. So I would definitely highly recommend this book. It's not without a little bit of drama. It's not too much at all. It's not too much at all if you're not somebody who likes a lot of drama in your stories or your romance stories. It's just enough to keep you interested in the story, and definitely keeps you rooting for the main characters, which is also something I love about a good romance story. You gotta root for the main characters, and I'm not gonna say everybody gets that right, And yes, so Ali and Soleil meet at a party. They have this amazing connection. They go their separate ways by chance again, and they meet again by chance. Find out that they have a lot more in common than they realize, a lot more connection than they realize, and that's when the complications ensue. So I don't know if I want to give away what the connection is or what the complication is. I said I was going to give spoilers, but I also still really don't like giving spoilers, but I really want to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about it. Yes, so when they see each other again, they realize that Ali's ex-girlfriend is I can't remember if it's half-sister or stepsister of Soleil's ex, I guess you can call him her ex-boyfriend. But also Ali's ex-girlfriend is allegedly friends with Soleil, even though that girl is really not her friend. And I spent most of the book like, girl, that is not your friend. I get it. I know people like Soleil who want to hold on to these or don't want to be the one to let go of certain relationships that are no longer serving you, or the people that you're trying to hold on to have made it clear that they have no intention of ever doing right by you, but you hold on anyway. You're holding out hope that, things will change. You've known this person for so long, and, you all have friends in common, so you don't want there to be any strife. But I'm just like, at some point, you gotta do what's best for you and what makes sense. And what made sense to me was letting that woman go on about her business. Anyway, But yes, I would definitely highly recommend that book. I also wanted to mention that I did something a little different with this video, and I'll probably never do it again because it was such a freaking headache trying to do this picture-in-picture situation so you guys can see what it looks like when I'm messing around with this iPad and good notes. You know, in person, like a overhead view of what it looks like or what my setup is, and also have the visual of me screen recording. You guys will have to let me know which version of it you like better, seeing me in person doing it or just watching the how do you call it, the screen recording, because I feel like you get more of a clear picture of what it is I'm doing when I screen record versus me trying to record over my shoulder or overhead. I don't have the proper setup for that, as you guys could see, so you guys will have to let me know. But I just want to do something a little different and see if I get any good or bad feedback on that. But yeah, this particular part here where I'm sitting is how I'm usually comfortably sitting and, you know, doing my creative business. I don't really care for sitting at my desk and doing this particular activity because it just isn't comfortable for me. So I like to either sit in the bed and lay back or sit on the couches, which is what I'm doing here. My comfy little Sherpa blanket, a little pillow out under my arm to, you know, rest my arm on. Because I like to be comfortable doing stuff like this. It's like therapeutic for me. So yeah, that's what I'm usually doing. I don't usually sit at my desk and do this, but I figured I'd give you guys that visual just in case you wanted to see it, and also a realistic visual of me sitting on the couch. But yeah, so you guys will have to let me know how you feel about that, or if you care, I don't know. But let me tell you, I'm not doing both. I'm never doing both again because that was such a hassle trying to edit this video to make it match up. the screen recording and the live recording match up, and some of it is still not properly matched up, and I'm just like, I don't even care at this point. Hopefully you guys don't care either because it is what it is at this point. It was such a hassle. Okay, so this part is blurred out because I did not realize while I was screen recording that I left the photo application open on this side here with sensitive, not crazy, but sensitive photos visible to the screen. So I just had to blur that out for a while until I could move over to the visuals from my reading journal. So excuse that part of it, but you didn't really miss much. So hopefully you guys don't mind. This story, this was book 2 of this, what was it, Bassett Sisters series. I originally read the first one, I think, or listened to the first one on audio. I don't think I ever read that physical or ebook. I did listen to that first on audio, but I did read the second book via ebook, and I absolutely love this series. The first one is called True. Oh gosh, not me not being prepared. Give me 1 second. Okay, so the first book is called Forever True. And that follows True Bassett, obviously. And this one is about Journey, who is True's younger sister. So in the first book, True is a photographer who is hired, excuse the notification, who's hired to do photo and videography, I think that's how you say it, for a well-known music producer named Cash. And obviously they end up together, Cash and True. And so we first meet Journey in True's book, and we also first meet Steele, who is Journey's love interest in her book, in Forever True, as Cash's security guard and friend. So that's how Journey and Steele meet, through True and Cash. And we get a little bit of their chemistry or their attraction to each other in the first book, or they're both interested, but we don't really see too much of their relationship in that story. But we get a lot more, obviously, in Journey's story. And they've grown a friendship, but it's obvious that there's more going on there between them, that neither one really wants to talk about, or one wants more and the other wants more, but is not willing to, because of their own personal issues or traumas from their past. It's a fairly short story. It's not a short story. I don't even think it would qualify as a novella either, but to me it's on the shorter side, but you don't miss anything from it being short. You get exactly what you came for, and I appreciate that. So that's why it's 5 stars for me. We get to see what happens between these two. If you've invested, interest from the first story, it's a great follow-up to the second. Great follow-up as the second story. But I think Steele's side of the story is a lot more intriguing. Not to say that Journey's story isn't, but Steele has a lot more going on with him, and it's very interesting to see his background, because you don't really get much of his background from the first story, given that he is a secondary character. But it's interesting to see how he comes to be how he is, and how he grows throughout the story. So yeah, that's why I love that story. If you guys have read either of the stories that I've mentioned so far, definitely leave a comment below and let me know what you guys thought, because I love hearing other people's opinions, good or bad, it doesn't matter. Love to hear it. Okay, if you're not new here, Kimberly Brown is another one of my top favorite authors in the Black romance genre. She never goes wrong. I'm sorry, but she just never goes wrong. If you have a differing opinion, I respect that. But my girl never does wrong in my eyes. So far, we'll see. My girl can write a mean book, I tell you. Anyway, so A Couple of Forevers is the final story in the Giroux family series, and I'm so sad to see them go, but it was such a good time. And this one was no different. We got to finally see Reese get his happily ever after with Corrali, and it was such a lovely time. It was another on the shorter side, obviously, because it's a follow-up to their original book. We get to see them get married, and we get to see them how their relationship is going, and how his relationship has grown with Corrali's daughter, and see them grow their family. It was so interesting to see how her relationship grew with her child's father's other baby mother and her son. It was very, very interesting to see, and just like I said, a good time. There's not too much I can say about it except that it was short and sweet. So if you have read the Giroux family series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you would probably agree, I'm not going to speak for anybody, but you'd probably agree that this was a very nice ending to such a, I don't even know, it was tumultuous, it was emotional, it was, I hate to say it, but it was fulfilling. No, I don't hate to say it, but yeah, it was a beautiful experience. Overall, the whole series was just beautiful. Anyway, so I can't recommend this book and not recommend the rest of the series, because this is the final chapter in that series. So I would highly recommend that you guys start from the beginning if you haven't, and work your way to this one. They're all 5 stars to me, so definitely recommend. So the last two ebooks I read were in my 4-star category, simply for the fact that I felt like something was missing for me. Just a little bit of something was missing for me from each of the last two ebooks that I read. So AWOL, Absent Without Love, was such a different experience for me because it was a military romance, which I don't think I've ever read in my history of reading fiction. I don't think I've ever read a military romance, and it was such a refreshing change. It was a very good book. Like I said, it was just a little bit of something missing for me, and I'll say it was some loose ends that were not tied up, and I don't like ending a book and feeling like unsettled. Unless there's going to be a part 2, I don't like feeling unsettled when I finish a book. So that's why it got 4 stars for me. I think my official review rating was 3.75 or something like that, close to 4 stars. But yeah, this one was about, I'm trying to remember because they had 2 different names. Their government names were Nakara. Yeah, there it is. Nakara and Omari. And their nicknames were Dakota and Creed. Creed was actually Omari's last name, but they called him Creed. And I apologize that most of that reading journal visual setup was kind of lost. Actually, a couple of my screen recordings were lost, so you didn't get to see me do the whole thing, but I did show the end products for that one at the end there. But yes, Nakara and Omari, she's an older woman. I think she was older than Omari by like 9 years or something like that. So that right there with the age gap was a little bit of point of contention between the two of them. And they don't realize that she is his superior until after they've met at a bar the night that she moved. Or the night before she was supposed to move on base to start her job. They met at a bar, had a one-night stand, and all types of things ensue after that. I'll let you guys figure that out if you decide to read it. But it was overall a very good story. Like I said, it just lost me a little bit because of the loose ends that weren't tied up. And like I said, I don't like feeling unsettled when I finish a story. I like to feel like a certain completeness of the story. So that was that. And my second 4-star story was Zyan. I think that's how you say his name. Zyan, Protector of Her Heart by A.C. Taylor. I love A.C. Taylor. She's also one of my top favorite authors. This one was 4 stars for me once again, as I felt like something was missing. I can't for the life of me remember if it was mentioned what the hero or the male main character of the story, what his occupation was before he inherited his father's diner. I can't remember. But yeah, this was overall also a good story. This was a friends to lover story that was a little bit different. It had a little bit of a different friends to lover thing because these two had been friends in college. She was dating his half-brother at the time. His half-brother wasn't worth a darn and cheated on her with her best friend. And so to get revenge on them, she slept with Zyan, and he had no problems with it because obviously he had some harbored romantic feelings for her that he never told her about. So he was down. She got pregnant, had his child. So years later, she's moved out of town. You know, she lives, I don't know how far away she lives. She's in the same state or in a different state, I can't remember, but she lives far away and they're co-parenting, but they're still really good friends that are co-parenting. They both have feelings for each other. Nobody wants to be the first to say it. Nobody wants to ruin it, or she doesn't want to ruin the friendship, and nobody wants rejection. But I think they have a really great foundation for a relationship. They're really great co-parents. Their daughter is adorable. It was, like I said, overall a good story. I'm trying to remember if there's anything. Let me tell you something about her ex-best friend. She's still living in this. It's a small town that they lived in, because they live in the same town as well. They went to the same college. It's a small town they're living in. Everybody knows everybody's business, basically. But anyway, her ex-best friend finds a way to worm her way back into the mix. And for some reason, Zyan lets this woman influence his thoughts and his relationship with Yara. And I think that's my point of contention with this story. Like, why would this chick is shady. She has a history of being shady. She continues to be shady, even in present tense. Why would you listen to her at all? That was my thing. Like, and maybe it's just me. In my world, if somebody has a history of being untrustworthy, there's no way I would take their word for anything. And that's just that. I don't know. I guess that's the thing that annoyed me the most about the story, was his willingness to take her word for anything. Even when he had doubts about listening to her, he still let her words get to him. And that was just, yeah. But other than that, the story was a good story. We have reached the end. Oh, excuse me. A little bonus for you all. I have included the setup for my November reading journal calendar. So I'm just going to walk you guys through how I actually set up my calendar. I don't know, did I do that I did do that last month, but it was a separate video. I decided to just add it to this one and save you guys another upload. You can all just watch it, even though it kind of makes this video crazy long. I think this is the longest video I've ever posted, but hopefully you guys appreciate it. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to watch it. But I think this is my favorite calendar setup. It just came out so beautiful to me. But yeah, I used the stickers that I have to change out the font for the month and for the days, and some other stickers that I have in my sticker book here on Good Notes. I always want to say Goodreads for some reason, because they have the same, the good. Yes, Good Notes. looking through my stickers, trying to figure out which numbers I wanted to add to this calendar. And none of them looked attractive to me, so I ended up doing what I did last month and just using my own font and text box to just type them out, even though it's so time consuming. It just looks better to me using my own font that I like to fill in the numbers for the calendar. And I have a pretty decent list of TBRs this month. We'll see if I get through them. As I'm recording this, it is after November already, but I have already started my November reads. So I think I'm already 2 books in, and I'm prayerful that I get them all done this month. We'll see. But I'll stop rambling now and let you guys finish watching. If you are looking for any information, anything that I've used or mentioned, everything will be listed in the description. And if it's not, you can leave a comment, ask any questions you would like. If you have any recommendations for future reads that you would like me to either discuss or review, also leave that in the comments. As always, the timestamps will be listed below, because I know I appreciate timestamps, so I try to always remember to timestamp just in case you guys want to skip over anything or skip to something or skip back to something. So that will be listed below. All stories that were mentioned here will be listed below. I'll try to remember to list my TBRs. If not, you'll catch that in my recap video next month. Or you can check me out on Instagram. I usually have my TBRs listed in a post on my Instagram, or the link in my bio on Instagram will have it. Let's see, is that all? I think that's all I want to share with you all. If you guys have any questions, suggestions, leave them below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, support the channel, all those good things. If you liked this video, if you enjoyed it, don't forget to check out some related videos at the end of this one, and I will catch you all next time. Peace.